Okay, so welcome back to the second tutorial in setting up course sales. We're setting up a training course for the first aid training company. You can see there I've already registered. Go and have a look at tutorial number 1 if you want to have a look and see how we've done this. We've registered FATC, standing for First Aid Training Company.coursesales.com, and I can log in here with my details that I chose during registration, and here's the page that we're at now. We also in the last tutorial showed you public pages. I want to quickly show you those. In fact, I can show you those by opening up a incognito window. And now this is necessary to visit the pages because you need to have a separate, effectively, container of a browser window that will not use the same cookie that we had before. I just want to show you something here. So if I go and visit this page, the URL is public, public courses, score h=1. If I press enter there, so we actually get a response saying no course dates found. Now we know that course dates do exist. We created one for December, and I'll show you what the issue is there. Previously we used one browser, so we were logged in under Scott.Spence, which was a valid user, so it displayed the courses. But if we go back into course sales now, have a look at the logins, so it's the logins that we're interested in. Click on the logins and you'll see we've only got these two logins. One here is services. Now the services is related to activities, cron jobs that occur, such as the updating of expiry of courses and sending of emails. The services are located here under system, and then you can see here if you click on services, these are the services currently active. So we've got a course roll-up, emails, and course expiry. So course roll-up just makes sure that the courses have the right numbers of registrations, and all those numbers are kept in check, and we do that on the scheduled courses. So I'll go back here to setup and then logins to have a look at the logins. We're missing some here. We need the public login, so let's have a look at the draft ones. If you want, you can do an advanced filter, and you can have a look at a specific internal type. In this case we're going to look at public because we're looking at the display of public courses, and you can see here it's draft. So if I go in here and edit this, I'll change this, I'll scroll to the bottom there, change this from draft to active, and I'll give it a valid password. Doesn't really matter what password you give it, it's just to make sure that login remains valid. And I'll flick back to this page here, and if we refresh this, we now get to see our course. So this means now that this course is valid, and we can visit it, which is pretty cool. You can go in and place a registration and enrollment without any issue. Okay, so I just want to show you that. My next step is to go in and download the WordPress driver, which is what this tutorial is all about. So I'll click here. I've actually logged in. Now I'll send you this. I'll send you a link. There'll be a link in the description which will show you where to download this plugin, this coursesales.com connector, and I'll just download it for now. So we've got access to it from the Google Drive. We'll save it under downloads, and that'll be accessible a little bit later for us. So we're now going to go into a WordPress inside this WordPress version 4.8.3 setup. I'll show you under plugins. Now when you choose a WordPress hosting provider, be sure that you choose one who can allow you to upload plugins, maybe even get a demo site for them and try uploading this plugin and make sure it can install fine. Nothing worse than getting a hosting provider who then either charges you to check out the plugin or asks you to not add your own customized plugins, which is what this is. So here we are, we've got plugins, and we're going to add a new plugin. and we're going to upload the plugin, choose the file, go to downloads, type it in here to get our course sales connector, and install it. Now it's installed, we need to activate the plugin. It's activated. So there it is there. So let's go in now and set up, do the settings on the plugin. So I'm just going to go here to the settings menu within WordPress, then coursesales.com connector. Now there are instructions here. As you can see, there are instructions all along here which show you the information, or give you the information of how you can go and set up your pages. Now I've got a few pages set up already, and they include these short codes. So the short codes, for example, these ones in here. There's an example of short code. Those short codes go onto the pages, and they are pre-filled in with the course sales information. So I'm going to show you how you can go in and have a look at some of these pages and set them up. So let's have a look at the pages. So I've got some pages here set up. I've got the course list detail page. I've got the course list summary page. I've got the form page and the form success page. There's also a course cart page there. I'm not going to set up for multiple bookings just yet. That'll be another tutorial. But for now, these 4 pages here are the ones that you're probably going to be interested in. These are the ones here that we'll be working on today. So I'll go and show you what details they have in them. So I'll just do an edit on this details page. And you can see here, we can get rid of this stuff here. That's just part of the testing. But you can see there I've got the course sales dash course dash list dash detail. Okay, so that's reflected in the name. And this is going to display the listing of courses. So we'll see that shortly. Let's update that. We'll go back to our pages. I'm going to show you the course list summary now. Let's go and edit that. And again, I'm just going to tidy it up, take some of this other stuff out, which was generated by me, but you need to copy this in. Okay, so make sure you copy in this information here, which you can get off that settings page. Let's update that. And then go and have a look at the form page. Again, I'm just going to tidy it up so you can see just what you need to enter. And in this case, it's just course sales dash form. So make sure you enter that code in. Let's click on update. And the final one is going to be the course sales form success page. So again, I'll get rid of the unnecessary text, and this is the course sales dash form success page. Now these will require some sort of modification with regards to look and feel. You might want to change the fonts, you might want to change the background color, those sorts of things. But feel free to do that after you've got the basic functionality working. So let's update those details. We're going to go back into the settings now that we've updated that, and we're going to set it up to use for course sales. So let's have a look. Now coursesales.com URL, we can get that by looking at our get the first bit here, just copying that, copying the details there, look back to WordPress. And you can see here it's saying this is the example this is the example we want to use, and XXS is your instance, well that's the short name, so we want to just leave that there, and that gives us the full URL. Now the SOAP username, I'll just use that SOAP username I set up before. So going back to that, I'll show you. We go into logins. You can see here, got public website. Now actually, this is actually the SOAP user we need to set up. So you can see here we don't have the SOAP user. So again, let's go back to looking at inactive users, or sorry, draft users, or logins. So we've got some logins here. This is the SOAP one, indicated by the fact the name is SOAP. Let's go and edit that. Now there is a requirement to have a minimum of 6 letters in a username. So I'm just going to call this SOAP, and then give it a password. Change it from draft to active. Click on save. So now the SOAP password is also valid, the SOAP login. That allows us to then enter that in here. SOAP. Okay, now the date format, I'm just going to copy this date format here. I'm not too fussed about that. And the form page, this is asking us to get the ID of the form page. So let's go back. I'm going to open up another tab here. So clicking on the back button, holding Control key down, opens up this page here. I'm going to go back to these pages. I'm going to get the ID. So if I go to the form page, which I believe is what we're looking for. Yes, the form page. So the form page here, if you look down the bottom, you can see, I'll just show you. You can see here, they're telling us it's post, it's number 7, post equals 7. So that's the ID that we're looking for. So go back here and do 7. Now the form success page, click on edit there. And again, you can see, looking down at this URL down the bottom, oopsie daisies. I'll just do that again. Form success page. Oh, that's the form page. Form success page. You can see here we're looking at post equals 9, just there. So let's go back here and type 9 in. Course category filter. This is asking us if we want to have filters. Let's say yes. For now, we've only got one course, so it's not going to make much of a difference, but we're going to add some more courses soon. So we do want our customers to be able to filter by the category, and we want them to be able to filter by location, because we're going to have more than one location. We're not going to allow them to use the discount filter, or add that in later. And the number of courses in a list, well, we're quite happy to have 5 in a list. It's an infinity list, so as it gets to the bottom, it renews it down the bottom. Now here they're asking for the course list detail view. This is to tell us what information do we want to display. Okay, so because it's the detail view, I'm just going to take all of it and stick it in there. And then if I copy that, I'll put it down to the summary view. But in the summary view, I don't want the venue, just the location's fine. I don't need the format either. So I'll just remove those. I'll include the price, I'll include the buttons, and I won't have the description. Okay, now let's not worry about enable agent lookup. That's a topic for another tutorial. And the agent ID is the same. Enabling multiple bookings, we're not going to do that yet. And the remainder of these steps are to do with multiple bookings. So the process step is to do with the cart, and the course cart page obviously is the cart page we've created, but we're not going to be using that, so we'll leave it alone. If you find that some of your text areas are being mangled through the new lines, then you can apply this new line, escaping the new lines in the JSON. Give that a go, see if that works. And then we're not going to have any logging for this particular system because we're not worried about any errors. We haven't got any errors just yet. Okay, so that's been saved now. So the key now is to visit these pages and to see what we can see. Hopefully there's a course going to come up, so cross your fingers. Let's go to the course detail, list detail, and I click on view. Here we go. That's our course that's come up. Okay, so it's quite similar to that public page, which I'll take you to. So that's the public page of the same information, and this is the display within WordPress. And you can see here, if we had multiple categories, there'd be multiple there, but at the moment we've just got one. And if there were multiple locations, we'd also have more than one there. So as you can see, you can click on here and you can expand the registration, expand the description rather. You can see that extra information that's similar to, again, to the public pages, where you've got this plus sign here. You can display more information. And you've got the to inquiry and the two buttons, inquiry and register. So let's do the registration button just to make sure it's all working. And here we go. Now this is a bit of a squashed up form. It's also yellow, which might not be the color that you want, so you can, like I say, make modifications as necessary. We'll cover that in a future tutorial. Otherwise, look at the documentation that's in the description below. I'm going to add somebody in here. I'm going to call this person Joe Smith. And I think I've just got a few mandatory fields. joe.smith@coursesales.net. You can see some of these fields might need a bit of adjustment to work with this narrow format. Maybe even taking away some of those fields. Got the payment method as your first payment method. We'll be changing that in a moment. And then I agree to the terms. Let's submit it. There we go. So this particular payment method doesn't have an option to pay online, but it's got a list here of what the costs are, what the tax is, etc., and if there's any payment surcharge, etc. So this is listing all the items related to the invoicing aspect. So that's now arrived in our course sales admin area. So let's go in there and have a look at documents. There we go. So Joe Smith's arrived in there. That registration's there. And if we open it up by clicking on the edit button, you'll see that Joe Smith's details are in there with Joe's email address, etc. Okay, so currently we have a payment method which does not take credit card payments online, and that's what we want to create. So let's create a PayPal payment method. We're going to edit this existing payment method because it's already connected to the course date. It'll make it nice and quick for us to see the changes that we make. So we're going to edit this payment method, and we're going to enter this in and call this the PayPal. Let's choose the PayPal test. Oopsie daisy. PayPal test. We're going to use that same name on the label as well, so that's what we'll see as a customer, because for now that's what we're going to do. We're going to take payments using a PayPal sandbox environment, which is a test environment which you can create yourself. If you have a PayPal account, you can create a test environment as well, or if you want us to help you with it, we'll use our test environment. We're going to have a surcharge of 2%, and this is going to be a full HTML online payment method. Customer instructions. This is just for the email, so if you're going to provide instructions on in the email, then these are the instructions that will be included. No fields are going to be replaced. That means short codes won't be used here. Okay, so we're just going to write a short note. Please use our PayPal payment method following the link provided. Okay. And then we're going to have customer instructions before payment. Now, to get this working, I'm actually going to go over and use our existing instructions on our documentation page about how we set up PayPal, which I'll provide a link to in the description below. So if I scroll down, let's go to a full online payment method using return URL, but no IPN, which is instant payment notification. So we can set that up later, or you can have a look at this documentation to figure out how to do that. So I'll just copy this information here. We're going to include this information in the customer instructions before payment. Now, I do want to set that, because this is HTML I'm copying in, I would like to adjust the source code. So I'm going to add it in here. Let's paste that in. You can see there now, one of the things about this is I need to make sure this is using the sandbox environment. Now it already uses the correct business value because that's the course sales sandbox value, and it's already got the code in here to include the price, and it'll create a link as well using a button. That's the submit button here. So I'll click on OK, and you'll see that button up here. I'll click apply. Now you can see here I've actually got some fields I haven't filled in that I need to. So after payment I want to say thank you for your payment. Now you can actually include shortcodes in here. I won't do it for now, but you can include shortcodes which can give people the their reference number and those sorts of things. In fact, I'm going to put a reference number here. I know that this online code is actually going to generate a button at the bottom which we can hide later, but for now let's make it information friendly, and I'm going to copy that code, that short code. I'm going to say your reference for this enrollment is, and then I'll include that there. So let's click on apply again, and it looks like it's happy to take those details. So we'll go back here to the listing of the course, and you can see here I can click on the register button to register for this course, and I'm going to register as Sam Handsome, and I'm going to put sam@coursesales.net as the email address, and payment method, I'm going to choose this new payment method that we've created and agree to the terms and click on submit. Okay, so you can see here we've got the details of the course, we've got the 2% payment surcharge, and you can tell that 2%'s been added onto this as well. Okay, so we've got a 2% charge associated with this course. I'm going to pay now using PayPal. You can see there where that button actually came up. We can hide that information pretty easily, but for now let's just click through and pay using PayPal. Now this is a sandbox environment, so we have set up some sandbox usernames and passwords that use various credit cards. And you can see that I've already logged in earlier, so it's already recognized me, which is pretty cool, and it's asked me to pay by credit card. I can click on pay now. So if someone's logged into the PayPal account, this is what would come up. Otherwise it would ask them to fill out their details. So you can see here I've paid using that MasterCard there, that credit card. And these are some details, obviously not of myself, but of something else. So let's see if we can return back to the store. There we go. We return back to the store to the paid step, and this can actually update a paid process step as well, which we haven't set up yet. In fact, while we're here, let's set that up. So it's not hard to do. We'll go back in here to methods. To the payment methods. We don't need to set up that now, but let's set up a paid step so that when someone pays via credit card on PayPal, it actually updates within course sales. So we'll have a look at the path that we're using. This is to do with automation, so it's in the automation area. You can see here we've got the transfer in step, we've got inquiry, we've got registration, we've got evaluation completed, transfer out. That's what we've got. So we haven't got a paid step. So let's see if we can create a paid step just after registration. Because it's one thing to register, but it's another thing to pay. So we'll add a step here. We'll say paid. It's going to be related to documents. We'll make that pretty close to 45% complete. We could make this a registration. This triggers the registration rather than just sending the data through to us, rather than sending the document through to us, because the document will be there even if payment isn't completed. But let's say we go add. Let's choose that paid step. Now something about this paid step I forgot to do, which is actually setting an internal type. That internal type is paid. Let's save that. Okay, now I'll save this path now. I'll include it in the summary actually, which will include it in the workflow that we're analyzing. And if I just go in and show you this document, Sam Hansen, I'll click Click on the view status, which will tell us the workflow steps. So we just had registration come in. There's no paid step there. But if I go back now, because we're still sitting on this paid step for this document, but we didn't have a paid step set up. So now if we refresh this page, in fact I can see it's going to CC Learning, which is not what we want it to do. There's a modification required there to the, let's go back. You can see it went to the wrong domain name. So if we go in to finance payment methods, and we obviously copy that over but didn't make a modification that we should have made. So looking down in here, you can see here how it says CCL. Now that's a different training company. It's actually my own training company. So let's change this to First A Training Company. Okay, and click on, and there's no other changes by the looks of it. Click on OK and apply. And let's go back and do this registration again, so we make sure we get sent to the right website. Let's go back to the form page. We'll call this Sam2, and we'll change the email address to Sam2, and we'll submit it. Again, we'll click on this Pay Now using PayPal button. We're already logged in, so hopefully it'll be a fairly quick activity. There we go, we're logged in, so now we click on Pay Now. Here we go. And let's return to the seller's website. With a bit of luck, this will take us back to actually the correct website. There we go. We're at the correct website. It's come up with the thank you text that we added in. And I think if we go back here to have a look at the documents, we'll see that Sam2 has arrived and it's at the paid step. How's that? And so when you're at this point, looking at the paid step, you can actually make modifications to the payment method and see those changes straight away. This is a little bit of a assistance for you to know what it's going to look like. So if we go into finance payment methods, let's say we want to change a few things. Down here we've got thank you for your payment. We could say you paid, and then let's go into use some fields, and let's get some price details fields, and let's look at for total price. That's with no formatting. Let's get some formatting in there. You paid. So if we apply that and refresh this page, you can see there we're actually got the amount coming up as well. Okay, so you can actually go in here and make continuous modifications. You may find that the process step gets updated for that document, but this is a test document anyway, so it shouldn't really matter.